Alright folks, try something a little different here. I'm actually going to do some tank reviews of vehicles that I think I've driven sufficiently to form a reasonably informed opinion on. So we're going to start with the Tiger 1. So here's the Tiger Aus H1, battle rank 5.7. It's got the 88mm KWK 36, 56 calibers long, with the standard armor-piercing Panzergranat 39. There's over 165mm of armor penetration at point blank, down to 138 at 1 kilometer, and 116mm penetration at 2 kilometers. So, quite a deadly weapon. Now, this is the H1, battle rank 5.7, so there, with a recent patch, there's actually a bigger brother, which is the Aus F, or sorry, Aus E. And this is the definitive version of the Tiger 1. So it's up to battle rank 6. Key change with the armament is that the Aus F, sorry, I keep saying F, the Aus E actually gets an APCR round that improves armor penetration at all ranges. So there's an extra machine gun mounted on the roof, which is useful for shooting at aircraft. There's an improved cupola that's lower profile. And up front, in the lower front plate, there are track links, which improves the armor there. Now, typically, if you're faced with a Tiger 1 head-on, there isn't much weakness to aim for, especially for the Aus E. Now, it used to be that the driver's vision slit was a very big weak spot, and I think it still is, but the size of that hitbox has apparently been reduced significantly, so you really need to nail it dead on. Now, what people typically shoot for is going to be the front part of the flat armor here. Now, there are ammo racks on the two sides of the hull. Okay, so on both sides of the hull, and that's if you take a full ammo load. There are also smaller ammo racks down near the bottom of the vehicle. Now, if you take less than a full load, then I think the left side ammo racks end up emptying first, and then the right side ammo racks, and then finally the ones in the bottom of the hull. So it's important to keep that in mind. Now, the armor for the H1 is slightly worse, most notably in the lower front plate, where there are no track links, and also in the larger cupola. So if you're faced with a situation where you're staring down the front of a Tiger 1, you could try to snipe the cupola and hope that an internal detonation will take out the vehicle. If you do have the armor penetration, though, I think it's more reliable just to go through the front armor. So the side armor is pretty thick. It's 82mm in the upper half of the hull. The weakness is the lower half here, so in between the tracks and the upper portion superstructure of the hull. The thickness there is only 62mm, and it's completely flat. So if you catch a Tiger on the side, and if you have the angle to hit that area between the tracks and the upper hull, that would be a good place to aim. Now, to maximize the armor, you want to angle the Tiger about like so. Okay, you don't want to over-angle though, because then you present the lower side to your adversary. And yeah, that is the easiest place to penetrate an angled Tiger, if they over-angle, that is. Okay, so that's a walk around for the Tiger 1. Now on to some gameplay. So here we're seeing I'm taking 30 rounds out of a possible 92. And again, that's to minimize the possibility of having an ammo detonation, which is of course catastrophic for the vehicle. So I'm just going to show some bits of gameplay here that highlight the various strengths of the Tiger 1. So the Tiger 1 was designed with an emphasis first of all on firepower and also on armor protection. And given the technological limitations of the day, this emphasis had to come at some cost to the mobility. And so here I'm driving a fully upgraded Tiger 1 Aus H1, which has a 650 horsepower engine. So the mobility is okay. It's not going to handle like a medium tank, obviously. But once you get going in a straight line, it's pretty good mobility for a vehicle that's this heavy. 57.3 tons, if I remember correctly. Okay, so we're on Eastern Europe here. So just making my way towards the enemy capture point. So I see friendly fire being poured in. Really have to wonder how snipers on our team can see these guys in all this tree cover, but as you may or may not know, in realistic battle and simulator battles, quite a few people turn down the graphics quality. So basically the trees that are in front of me would not be rendered by the people who play in this ultra low quality. So, you know, I'm not sure if the guy's sniping in the back or running at ultra low quality, but it certainly makes you wonder. Anyway, so what I need to do here is to clear out some of the trees. Now I notice a tree falling to the right over there, so there's a guy over there, there's an enemy over there somewhere, so I need to be careful not to push too far up, so I get shot on the side. Now, okay, so I can see what our guys are shooting at now. It's a KV-1. And looks like there's another target over here. Another KV-1. So this is a realistic battle. There are friendly map markers. There are no enemy map markers. I have to wonder what these guys are thinking driving a KV-1. This tier battle. Okay, so that just goes to show the armor penetration capability of the 88mm. Going through the front angled hull at KV-1. This next shot goes through the machine gun port of a T-34, which is essentially a guaranteed penetration. So here, took a hit on the side here, so I knew there was a guy over there. And I think they picked him off. So you can see the penetration on the upper hull right there. So whoever shot me was aiming for one of the ammo racks. Now, if I had gone in there to this battle with the full 92 rounds, that probably would have triggered an ammo detonation. So that's why in War Thunder you want to just take as much ammo as you need, not as much ammo as you possibly pack into your vehicle. Okay, so I'm just going to sit here and repair. Yeah, so just a tip here, if you're going to repair, given a choice, find some cover. Can't tell you how many times I've seen people repair out in the open and get shot while they're doing it, so just thought I'd point that out. Okay, so this next clip is the Tiger E on the Normandy map. So I still have quite a bit of research to do on the Tiger E to get it fully upgraded. So for example, I haven't unlocked the APCR round yet. I haven't upgraded the drivetrain system but still, I have to say, for a vehicle this big, it actually handles pretty well. And the other thing I want to say about the APCR round is that at battle rank 6, typically you don't even need it. Because the toughest vehicles you're going to end up facing well, actually, is that true? No, actually, I take that back. You do need an APCR round, because if, for example, you can draw opposing Tiger 2s, and with just normal armor piercing, you really can't do much of anything against a Tiger 2 from the front. So yeah, it is a good idea to unlock APCR. Now, here, trying to find some cover here next to this rubble round, or rubble mound, sorry. I was lucky to survive a hit from not one, but two 122mm Soviet guns, and that's where this armor angling comes in. So I managed to take out the SPG there. And I sniped the cupola of the IS-2. Don't do much damage though, so just back away. Yeah, so it's important to angle the armor so that you're at an oblique angle. Okay, so later on in this match, pushing in towards the enemy here, so this Tiger 2 to my left has got to be the luckiest SOB to not get shot in the side here, because he just drives ahead without looking to his side, so there was an IS-2 just standing right there. Now I managed to take him out. Okay, I'm trying to back away from this Su-152. Trying to angle the armor, but to no avail. Because when a 152mm howitzer round hits you, even if it doesn't actually penetrate, there is so much, the sheer amount of high explosive does so much damage. So you gotta watch out for those 152mm guns. Okay, so, excuse me, next clip on the, let's see, this is the Berlin map. So because of the way the cap point is situated, this is an ideal sniping spot. This is a long, clear path, and the enemy, at least some enemies, are going to start passing this way. And so I've situated myself next to another rubble mound. Just waiting patiently here, and here comes another customer. Glanced off his gun mantlet. Not sure if he can shoot me, so I'm trying to make my vehicle as small as possible. Okay, so there he is again. So next shot goes a little low. Hits the rubble in front of him. And take out his driver and gunner. Next shot flies low. Again. So the 88's an accurate gun, but with any gun there's going to be some element of random dispersion every time you pull the trigger. So T-34-85 shows up and I take out his cannon breech. So he needs to back up and repair. And go through the side of the SU here.
Allied forces have captured a zone. Nice one.
So it's a good shot. So the battle's developing here. We've captured the point, and basically our team is just occupying it by now. So probably it's time to move, because it's unlikely that more enemies are going to be pouring through this way. And just having thought that, here comes that T-34 I shot previously, so finish the job here. Okay, so just moving up from rubble mound to rubble mound. It's always good to keep cover. Okay, so later on in this battle I see what look like AAA tracers. So pushing forward slowly to investigate here. Now, what I did there was a bit dubious. I shouldn't have driven up front like that, because if that IS had been pointing this way, I would have been in deep trouble. Okay, so take him out. Now, there's a little bit of quirkiness with realistic battles, and that is in between respawns, a destroyed vehicle doesn't actually blow up. So, okay, so that's what I should have done just now. I should have used the third-person camera to peek around that corner to see if that IS was looking at me, and so this T-34 was looking at me, so I wait for him to turn away, and then I shoot him in the side when he isn't looking. So knocked out his turret crew, and he decides to just blow himself up. Okay. So this last bit here is going to show what I think is the underrated maneuverability and mobility of the Tiger 1. So again, the Tiger 1 weighs in at over 57 tons. So if you think about that, 57 tons, 650 horsepower engine, fully upgraded. So that's what, it's like what, 12? 12? Yeah, we'll call it 12 horsepower per ton. So it's not great, but it is good enough to get you there, because you can see once you start going in a straight line, you can go over 33 kilometers an hour. Okay, so going back to defend our cap here, because if you look at the map, the majority of our team are swarming over the enemy camp. Yeah, only 3 of us to come back and deal with this threat here. So, shoot a T-34 on the side. Now, need to give proper credit to the enemy players here, because it's obvious that they were playing with the graphics turned up. They weren't playing in ultra low quality. Okay, so take out a KV-2 right there. So that's 2 enemies down. Now, we aren't recapturing the point, which indicates that there's another enemy nearby. So, just looking around, find him among all this foliage. So, let's see, firing there. There he is. Just wait for the gun to settle, and shot him in the side. So, yeah, so that's the review of the Tiger 1. I think it's a very well-rounded vehicle. It's actually reasonably mobile and maneuverable for a heavy. I think that the ability to do neutral steering, i.e. to turn in place, really helps that. Because if you were driving, say, a KV or an IS, which doesn't have neutral steering, in some narrow streets and alleys, you can find yourself doing the back and forth Austin Powers routine in order to turn the vehicle around. And also the power to weight ratio is actually pretty good for a heavy tank, so I think it's a very good vehicle. It's one of my favorites in the game so far, and yeah, I think it's possible to go wrong, basically, playing this vehicle. So, thank you very much. See you next time.